How do you turn creativity into a business and still keep your sanity? In this episode, I chat with Aaron Ryan, best-selling author and voice actor from Fortune 500 brands like Amazon, United Healthcare, and more. We discuss how he built a multi-stream business around his passions and the hard-won lessons from over 20 years of self-employment and how he manages to balance life and business and his faith. If you're looking to build your brand, monetize your skills, or grow without burning out, you'll get some practical insights, a few laughs, hopefully, along the way, and we'll just dive into this conversation. So, welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show. I'm Paul Guyon, your host, lead machine coach, and the founder of the Lead Machine Marketing Group and Mastermind. And I'm dedicated to helping you tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream life. So, if you're just starting out or you want to take your business to the next level, let's get this conversation started and turn your dreams into reality. So, Aaron, welcome to the show. Thanks, brother, for
Thank you.
coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. So we had a nice chat before we started recording. We probably should have recorded that too. It always happens that way.
Yeah.
So again, welcome to the show. Aaron, you've got lots of things going on here, but you mentioned books and things like that. But what are you best known for, and how has that identity evolved over time?
That's a great question. I have no idea. Next? No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I
Thank you for
probably
coming.
appreciate it so much. Yes.
Yeah.
Cut to commercial. As an author, I'm probably best known for the Dissonance saga. It's an alien invasion saga that I'm so proud of. I'm working on book number 35, not in the Dissonance saga, but just my 35th novel. And
Wow.
I look back at a track record of a lot of commitment and passion, but Dissonance represents a huge bulk of that. It's a
Mhm.
human tale of survival with a lot of heart and thematic depth. So I'm grateful for that. Voiceover artist, probably best known for being the voice of United Healthcare for about a few years. But I knew things were going to change last fall when they had the assassination of the CEO. That the writing was on
Yeah.
the wall. And I haven't had any work since probably first part of January, February with that one. But that was the signature voice for them for a while.
Wow. Wow. We mentioned Amazon. What did you do for Amazon?
Yeah, I don't remember there. Yes, there's a whole list of Fortune 500 companies, but so I'll add the name to the list if I voice them, but it could have been a commercial spot, an e-learning spot, a web explainer video, or a whole host
Oh,
of other
gotcha.
things.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's cool. And you got a good voice. You got a good look on camera. Hopefully, you're doing things on camera too. How have you built systems around? I mean, some people like to say, "Well, I've got a face for radio."
Yep,
Yeah.
I
So,
do.
how have you built systems around your creativity to stay consistent?
Yeah. So one thing actually that I would dare say a pioneer at, as a voiceover artist, I was a coach, a business coach, there are coaches and coaches. One type of coaches trains voiceover artists to really bring a script to life and to, how to deliver it well. There's also
Hmm.
business coaches, as there are in virtually every industry.
Right.
And one of the things I did as a business coach is I developed my own database that was a cloud database. It's Access, and just noodled at it over and over and over through the years, perfected it. And it helps me keep my finger on the pulse of my business. Bid to acquisition ratio, marketing, retention, follow up, customer service, and tracking income and revenue and accounts receivable. I designed that, and I'm very
Oh,
proud of
wow.
it. I called it First Voice Data and sold it to a few people.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
that really helps me. And I'm an Excel spreadsheet guy, so it's keeping track of that. I live and die by Outlook. So, I'm an Apple guy, for sure, but I'm a PC brat as far as my daily driver. And
Yeah.
man, Outlook with email for communication and calendar for scheduling and reminders and notes for everything else, I find it absolutely indispensable. And that's helped me just kind of keep everything in order.
Yeah. I like how you built your own system and you're measuring performance key metrics that are important. One key metric that I want to ask you about is, so how do you respond? How do you track response, or how speedily do you respond to inquiries?
Oh my gosh.
And how do
So
you track that?
yeah, I've actually been complimented for responding to people's email before they sent their email. Clients have said that. And isn't there a certain measure of truth to it? In this day and age, you go on Craigslist because you're looking for somebody to repair a leak or something, or a drywall bubble or whatever. you fire off 5 inquiries, and then the first one that responds is usually you're impressed by that. But you
Mhm.
get the response on the other end of the spectrum that comes 3 weeks later and like, yeah, I do this and I'd love to be of service and give me your number. I'm going, buddy, we had this done 3 weeks ago. You're just now replying.
Yeah.
It's staying on top of business. Every potential inquiry has messaged me for a reason. They're probably doing the same thing that I do, looking for answers from a
Mhm.
voiceover artist or an author or a speaker. And
Exactly.
they want to know. So, and I want them to know. I want to thank them right away for replying. There was this thing I used to do when I was out mobile and I'd get an inquiry. You can't, type while driving. So I would simply tap on their email in the email that came in when I was at a safe spot. And then I would just do a keyboard shortcut, like a text replacement shortcut in my iPhone, like a ZZZ, and it would convert it to, thank you so much for your inquiry. I'm driving right now and can't reply, but I'm very grateful you inquired and I promise to get back to you as soon as I can. People love that.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. And of course, you can use automation to do that. One of the things that I'm working on and I teach my clients is the 5 minute rule, which is within the first 5 minutes, if you respond even with an automation, with a personalized automation like you pointed out, you are 21 more times likely to connect with that prospect than if you wait 30 minutes. 30 minutes, it goes down hundreds of percent. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I
And
believe it.
you can automate the initial response. And then if it's really important, your tech stack can escalate it to a human being so that it escalates and gets prioritized before that. It can detect whether or not the tone of the message is, this is AI I'm talking about. But you can automate that process. So it really, really puts you at the head of the stack. In fact, only 7% of businesses respond within the first 5 minutes. So you're at, what, 93% of the head of everyone else if you do that. So that's a
Thank you.
big margin. That's a big margin. Good job.
Yeah.
So what marketing advice would you give to an aspiring or struggling authors?
Stop marketing. That's the first thing I would say because it was the best bit of advice I've ever received as a person in a business who has to market. It was another author, and I'm so sorry I cannot remember her name, but she said, if you want to get better at marketing, stop marketing. And everyone goes, all right.
Mhm.
And she quantified that, clarified it. She said, instead, simply be an enthusiast. All weekend long, this past weekend, as I am,
Yeah.
a few weekends out of the year, I'm doing a vendor market or a craft fair selling my books. And I can always tell when I've got commission breath or when I'm sitting there waiting for someone to come and let me tell them my stories and I hope they buy my books. But when I can tangibly feel myself backing off and just indulging in good, non-pressured, unpressured conversation and instead just simply be an enthusiast about my stories, people will hitch their wagons to enthusiasm, but people love to buy and hate to be sold. So
Yeah.
I don't like high pressure marketing. I don't I don't place a premium on it and I don't employ it. I would much rather just, how are you? Who are you? Do you live around here? And oh, my books. Yeah, I'm so jazzed about my books. And can I tell you the story? And it's just such a privilege to just be enthusiastic because then they get enthusiastic and then they want to buy it, as opposed to, the high pressure sales tactic of pushing the book in front of them over and over and over again.
So contrarian advice for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the connection with people is like, we established a rapport when we got on we're both musicians, we're both into singing and that thing. So yeah, we had some common ground here. We didn't know each other until a minute ago.
Yeah.
And yet there's something here that how we can help each other. We don't even know that yet, but now the door's open. So building connections can be and is building trust, building impact. All those things are super important, especially in my game, what I teach, and building trust and having impact faster than everyone else opens the door for building trust.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Um,
Yeah.
that connection that you have with people that is just such a bonding agent as opposed to they know why you're here. They know, that you want to sell your books. You're a vendor in a market. So You don't actually need
Hmm.
to say that. It's not like I need to stand with a sandwich board and ring my bell. They know why I'm there. But if I
Hmm.
can show the least little bit of interest and care for who they are as a person, it was scorching this weekend. It was, 90 degrees, whatever. And inside a tent, a booth, it feels like a sauna. It feels like it's at least 100. And one of
Oh,
the
wow.
things you talk to people as they walk by, are you staying cool? Yeah, get some of those sprays and stay cool. It's getting hotter. That's a caring statement, not, hey, come over here, let me tell you a story. It's just polar opposed to each other.
Yeah. And where were you at this vendor fair?
Oh, actually, this was in Kent, Washington, about an hour northeast of Olympia.
Okay. All right. So yeah, scorching hot and probably humid too, huh?
Not humid. No, it was a
No?
dry heat, and it was just really like. And I thought I
Yeah.
wore the lightest T-shirt that I had, but it was just, you're sitting in there, and this does nothing. The fan does nothing. Opening the back of the tent to let ventilation through does nothing. It's just like
Mhm.
you have to wait for the sun to go behind the building that you are in front of, so you're then in the shade. But that doesn't happen until like 2 or 3 p.m.
Yeah. So are you still doing voiceover work or are you focusing mostly on your books?
No, well, that's a two-pronged question, and the last part is certainly true. I
Yeah.
am definitely focusing. When you find your calling and you find what you love to do, you never work a day in your life. I
Yeah.
I am a storyteller. I've always been a storyteller, and I could cite every career that I've had, whether it's memorial videos or wedding videography or preserving people's tapes to DVD or voiceovers, authoring. They're all telling a story and leaving a legacy. I'm a dual storyteller because in there, behind me is my studio. I'm telling
Hmm.
other people's stories, and it's such a rich privilege to be chosen. I love it. And there was a time where it was super lucrative, but I much prefer telling my own stories. This is book number 34 called The Slide that I just released. And
Uh-huh.
I love this story. I loved writing it out. I love sharing it with people and having them, open it up, read through, and go, wow, I really enjoyed that. That's
Yeah.
my heart right now. Voiceovers have taken a huge beating by virtue of the SAG after strike, the economy, the lowballing clients, the underbidding colleagues, the usual suspects. But then when AI came into it, it's demolishing the voiceover industry, and my our income has
Yeah.
plummeted.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. So being a storyteller, everyone has stories and everybody wants to listen to stories if it involves them, right? It's got to appeal to them before you go. But I love telling stories and I've gotten better at it because I write a weekly newsletter and I always try to begin with a personal story. And I find myself pulling things from my childhood. Like last week, it was about a go-kart. And the week before that, this week, it was about the stripe that sold me. And it was about how when I was in kindergarten, I had my mother sew stripes on my outside of my pants for our musical thing that was, of course, the next day. And I said, Mom, all of the kids have them. I got to have it. And so I made a pitch for her to do it. And she, of course, she knew right through it. So we march onto the stage, and the only kid with the pants, with the stripes on my pants. So, but that was relevant to the guests that I had on this. So I love to pull out things from my personal to show some vulnerability and maybe some humor, those kinds of things to pull people in or to get people in. So how can business owners who are challenged with marketing, how can they use storytelling to bring their market closer to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think one of the biggest things, the biggest keys that is going to help any business survive and weather any unstable financial climate is the ability to adapt and overcome. I have worn a lot of hats over the years, and many people will say you could drop Aaron in a desert and he'll find a way to make money. I pride myself in that because I have a huge innate drive to produce and to provide for my family. I've got a wife, a 9-year-old son, and a 6-year-old son, and I want to provide for them. But there's something so tremendously fulfilling about doing your own thing. I never want to work for another boss again. You have to have vision, number one, in order to keep you going and have those goals in front of you that you can move forward to. But the ability to adapt and overcome is life's going to throw you curveballs wherever you are, business owner or no.
Yeah.
And me, I've had to adapt severely from a failing voiceover career, which, only a few years ago was just flying high. I'd wake up laughing and just, it's kind of like rolling in a bed of money. And it's just crazy. I mean, we paid for our entire house, 3 cars actually, paying our mortgage with voiceover money. It was really that lucrative. And it's just, it's not that way anymore. So you have to have the ability to pivot and find what you can do in order to fill up those corners. Or perhaps, I mean, there's been weeks or months where I've made more in authoring than I have in voiceovers. And it has always been this way, but
Yeah.
things are changing. So I don't know if that fully answers the question, but a business, a person, an entrepreneur, and whoever needs to have vision and the ability to adapt and overcome. They are indispensable.
Yeah. And so you, the, the income dropped right out of the, right, once we started having voice AI agents, and that's another thing, that voice AI agents can actually speak and have conversations, but it's pretty easy to get a voice AI, an AI voice. They've been doing that for quite a while.
Yeah.
But once you did that, what were some of the things that you faced? There was some self-doubt, but you already had the author thing going. You already had that you had your books that you could kind of move over to. But what were some of the despair things, or the things that really challenged you at that point?
Like, you mean when AI really started to infiltrate and to take over?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll just be real honest. I actually did not have authoring. I have pivoted back to authoring in the light of
Okay.
what's been happening with the crumbling voiceover career. I will say
Mhm.
there's a caveat to that. As a voiceover artist, I became a blogger, and I had 3,000 people on my blog, wrote 300 blogs, very satirical, hugely inspired by Dave Barry, Miami Herald. He's
Uh-huh.
a satirist and he's just absolutely hysterical. I, I wanted a blog like that was unique. Fiction, or satire rather, involves a lot of fiction, a lot of conjecture, and a lot of funny, endearing rabbit trails. And
Hmm.
so I had written 6 books as a voiceover artist that are a mixture of business guide, inspiration, satire. Being that there was that element of fiction there, it was really easy for me to pivot back to authoring as I saw the career starting to diminish. And I'm going to go back to fiction writing and write novels because I had done that before many years ago. When I really started to see things change was not, I got United Healthcare in 2023, and that was just a boon for business. It's bought us medical insurance every month for a phenomenal rate. Every quarter gets all 4 of us medical, dental, and vision at a wonderful rate. So we're going to miss that, if I don't continue to make union paying jobs. But I think what happened was the very first time I heard a client say to me, we are we know we're paying you this much per job, which is a fair market rate. And I have to toe the line for fair market wages, or we're all going to plummet. They said, well, we're being pushed to go to AI, because we can get that. We can buy Speechelo or Respeecher or SpeechOcean or whatever, and then produce our scripts like that for a single price of $49 a year. Yes, it makes financial sense, but it is far less connective. And I lost that client.
Hmm.
And that was, I think to date, they had provided near $30,000 worth of work, and they're gone. So I don't have that client anymore. E-learning is a very robust industry that continues to thrive, and I think made like, it was a $6 billion industry or something, and then it jumped exponentially in 2020 when distance learning started to take over because people were
Yeah.
learning from home. That
Hmm.
industry, thankfully, I don't think it really has been touched by AI much, and that's weathering the storm pretty well. But man, so many other industries or so many other genres and voiceovers are taking a hit.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the negative side of AI. Is there a positive side of AI for you?
The only positive that I can see with AI, because AI does affect authoring as well, and it's diluted the
Yeah.
marketplace with the offerings that you find now. But gosh, I remember watching a reel where a guy was wearing an AI leg. He's an amputee, and he was now wearing an AI leg that enabled him to walk, to play soccer. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Where I draw the line is when it's supplemental and it's helpful for life, great. When it starts replacing creatives and the ability to create, and when it starts depriving good, hardworking people of jobs, that's where I find it's a real travesty.
Yeah.
It's hard to focus on the positive of AI.
Gotcha. Well, I can understand why, especially given your experience. Yeah, that's a huge change in lifestyle and focus. But now you're doing more of what you love to do. I imagine you love the voiceover work too. But with your creativity and your 35 books, obviously there's a huge passion there. So if you can make money using your passion, like you said, you never have to go to work a day in your life.
Yeah. It's such a great phrase because it's so true. You just love what you do. If AI had not made inroads into the steady erosion of the voiceover industry, dissonance would not exist. This is my pride and joy. Uh, this
Uh-huh.
is this is a different representation of the Dissonance series. Dissonance is 6 books, but I had a single paperback volume produced of all 6 books.
Ah.
This would not be without what happened, with AI. And I'm so proud of this whole saga. It's actually been adapted for the screen and it's being actively pitched to streaming networks right now. I'm so excited for our future of what could be because of Dissonance. And that wouldn't have
Mhm.
happened had I not pivoted.
Nice. And so I have to ask you, are there aliens? Are they among us?
It's so funny because when I do these booths, clearly say alien invasion. But so many people come up and they go, "Yeah, man, I was abducted in the 70s by these aliens." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, let's go back. Alien invasion, not abduction, invasion." It's just
Invasion. Yeah.
totally different genres. Do they exist? So what I love, I'm going to say this. I love the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. I love the nerdy
Yeah.
science fiction jargon that's used in there. But there's a phrase that's uttered in there by Jodie Foster's protagonist's father, who eventually passes away. He says, she says something like, "Are we the only ones out there?" And he says, "Well, sport, if we are the only ones, it seems like a tremendous waste of space, uh,
Yeah.
because the galaxy is one galaxy in the universe. The universe is vast and ever expanding. I'm not God, but I do believe in a God who is far beyond human comprehension. His
Hmm.
ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. He is
Right.
utterly amazing, and he is the ultimate quintessential penultimate creator. He is creating as we speak, and I love that I get to partake in that. If he created
Hmm.
aliens, well, I think that's awesome. Why wouldn't he? I mean, we've got humans that are his, we think, and we're told we're the apple of his eye. We're a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. We
Yeah.
are his people here on earth, and earth is a precious, sacred planet. But who are we to say that there isn't another earth with another species somewhere? I think they
Yeah.
exist. I hope they're not the Gorgons in my series because those guys are not ET. They're predators. So
Yeah.
hopefully he's developed ETs out there somewhere.
Yeah. 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 Well, in all of his wisdom and his power, why, he could make it so that why wouldn't he create all that space for us to enjoy, all that grandeur of space? So there's lots of ways you can slice that question. So I've always been interested in ever since the 60s when I was in grade school, I think third grade. We had some sightings and some things like that in Flint, Michigan, and they call it a flap. And so I've been ever interested in that question. And of course, I think we all are interested in that and the conspiracies and all those things that you can really go down the rabbit hole when you get into that topic. So it's an
Yeah,
interesting series name.
it really is. I love the notion that they exist as a I don't remember how old I was when I saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but that movie still stands the test of time as far as just, the first contact and the psychological effects of the ramifications of what happens if they exist, and clearly they do. And the woman who loses her son Barry and then fortunately is reunited with him again. Adorable little kid in that movie.
Hmm.
I loved that movie. And my favorite movie of all time is Aliens, James Cameron, Sigourney Weaver. Now they're,
Yeah.
far more nefarious than the ones in Close Encounters. Um,
Yeah. No kidding.
but I love those movies. I love those types of movies with extraterrestrial life. Arrival, I think they're so cool, and
Hmm.
I would love to see Dissonance on the big screen. I would be shrieking like an 11-year-old girl with unbridled joy in the audience. Like That's my book. He's so excited.
Yeah. So, what has been the secret to you thriving as a freelancer for over 20 years? What are all the elements there?
All right. So hopefully this shows up, but like and this is within the span of 20 years. I think that you have to have a mantra. A mantra is also indispensable, something that you can fall back on. I love this phrase. It comes from a movie I like to pretend does not exist, Star Wars 1, The Phantom Menace. But I love this phrase uttered by Qui-Gon Jinn to a young Anakin Skywalker. He says, "Your focus determines your reality." And
Uh-huh.
so I had this, emblazoned on this slab. Your focus determines your reality. It was my focus to become a successful wedding videographer. It paid our mortgage, it paid everything. I got tired of weddings. Never want to do it again. It was my focus to become a successful voiceover artist and voice some of the world's, biggest Fortune 500 companies. And I did, and I have, and I do. It was my vision, my focus to become a best-selling author. And every single one of the books in the Dissonance series, along with the first one in the End series and Forecast, at one point or another, all hit bestseller on the Amazon
Mhm.
charts. And they're all award winning. Like, that is my focus. And it has become my reality. It is my focus to have my authoring pay for be our sole source of income someday. That is my focus. So to
Yeah.
that end, I labor.
And thoughts are things, according
Yeah.
to, is it Napoleon Hill who said that? Yeah, I'm sure it was. Thoughts are things. So, how, on the personal development side, you just kind of scratched the surface there, talking about how your focus is your reality. That is definitely a personal development thing. So, how do you delve into, and have you delved into going deep into personal development so that you could sustain this positive attitude that you obviously have?
Yeah. Grapes grow best in bunches. I love that quote. Authors need to surround themselves with other authors and learn from them what works, what doesn't.
Mhm.
I don't emulate Stephen King or J.R.R. Tolkien or Suzanne Collins or Tom Clancy. The more you immerse yourself in their writing, you're going to find touch points and things that you relate to more than others and how they
Mhm.
unravel a story for you. So it's basically close studying. In voiceovers. You are so highly encouraged to obtain a voiceover coach because it's just absolutely critical. Having a mentor
Mhm.
in your life is critical. Someone who preferably does what you want to do, that you can ask those questions of. And
Yeah.
I'm a mentor. I'm also a mentee in different spheres. It's so important. If you really want to get better at what you want to do, find out what's worked for the people who have done it. Yeah, I just I'm incredibly focused on doing authoring, and it's just so all consuming right now. So whatever I can learn and sop up and saturate, I'm gonna I'm gonna bite down hard, like a dog with a bone.
Well, that persistence there, that focus, that clarity. I think clarity is what you have that many entrepreneurs don't really have. They have this talent, they have this thing that they want to do. A lot of times they don't have the clarity to actually pull it off. And I think it's admirable to have that clarity that you have, and the persistence that you have, and I'm going to go after it, and it's non-negotiable. It's going to happen. So yeah, I like that. Are there okay? So we talked about a lot of things, and I didn't know where this was going to go. I still don't. But what were your expectations of coming on to the Lead Machine Growth Show, and what haven't I asked of you that you would really like to get out?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. Do you spring that on everybody?
No. Well, sometimes I do, but we've
Okay,
got 9 minutes,
yeah.
and we got
Gosh,
a
what
couple of
haven't
more
you
things
asked?
to do.
Yeah, I do actually really enjoy being asked what are my pain points, or what do I regret, or what do I wish I would have done
Uh-huh.
far earlier. Those are super helpful questions to enable you to reflect on and grow from. And I do have my regrets. I do have my wishes and my wistful longings that I wish I would have done and not done.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm happy to dive into those. I don't think there's anything that we've talked about AI, we've talked about voiceovers, we've talked about authoring, we've talked about goal setting and vision and all of that stuff. I think the biggest thing that is so critical that I've mentioned is the vision, the ability to adapt, the mantra. But what I didn't really mention was, but you just hit on, is drive and hustle.
Hmm.
Um, Gosh, there's no one that can teach you drive. You have to just have that innately in your heart and your stomach. I'm
Yeah.
driven by, it's not fear, but it's driven by more of a determination never to work for someone else's dream again.
Yeah.
This is my dream, you know, this is my dream all around me. And I love being able to come out to our shop. It's an 880 square foot shop, come out here every day and pursue dreaming, and to
Hmm.
have that be our, become our livelihood. So
Yeah.
no one can teach you that drive though. And hustle is just something you learn in order to get yourself to that dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very practical.
So let's talk about setbacks for we all have setbacks. We all have adversity. In Napoleon Hill, and I imagine you probably know this, but Napoleon Hill, which is one of my favorite, like the OG personal development guy, and there's Wallace Waddles also. But he said, in every adversity, there's an equal and opposite opportunity. And I like to add, and you just have to go and recognize it and seize it. What were some of the big, besides, we've talked about the voiceover, but what else was like, oh my gosh, this is a setback. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Where am I going to go from here? Tell us how you dug yourself
Yeah.
out of that.
Oh, I'm sure there's been a few, and hopefully I'll be able to remember them. I want to cite Thibault Meurice, though. He is a French inspirational, self-development author. And I don't
Hmm.
like doing audiobooks, but I do his as a voiceover artist. And one of the things that he quoted is by, and I knew I was going to forget his name. He cites this author very often in his books, and his phrase is, success is not an event, it is a journey.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and I love that phrase. You don't arrive at success. It is a constant
Yeah.
refining and a constant, journey.
Right.
So, one of the most recent setbacks is I invested $2,700 in done for you Facebook ads from a guy who
Mm.
specializes in click testing. And
Mm.
I think it was just an absolute waste of an investment, because what they said they were able to produce with ads that I then replicated, literally mirroring what they had, did not result in the same results for me. So something is lost in translation, or you lied to me as far as the metrics that you were able to achieve. I think it was a real waste of investment. That was a setback. And I was like, dang it. And I think I don't ever want to invest in Facebook ads again, because it's such a hard ask to pull someone away from social media to go to Amazon and buy your book. People are on Amazon already to buy things. So
Hmm.
do Amazon ads. I mean, it's far more, they're an audience that is there to purchase. You don't have to
Right.
pull them from someone. It's not a magnet. So there's that. As a
Can I
voiceover,
comment on that? Do you
sure,
mind if I comment on that?
sure, go ahead.
I think that, and I'm not a Facebook book ad expert. I'm in a class right now discovering how to do that. And I think that the key there is, yeah, you got to pull them off the platform, or if you can use the Facebook lead ad where it captures their lead right there on the platform, or and drive them to that instead of off platform. And or you have a macro goal of selling books, but your micro goal could be to get leads onto your email list. And maybe you could give away a chapter of your book right there on the platform where they have to comment dissonance if
Yeah.
they can spell it, or gorgons. And then your automation picks up and adds them to your list, and they get a chapter. That way, then you can market to them and get them into your fold. So that's another way that you can slice Facebook ads that might be more effective. So
Definitely.
it could be that they were generating traffic, but there wasn't a really a great conversion mechanism to get them into your world. And maybe
Yeah.
maybe that a
I,
baby step. But yeah, it's a setback.
one of the things you mentioned, though, as far as giving a chapter and letting them read that, we actually did that.
Yeah.
And as far as the blog goes, they get a free book, they get a free PDF or an EPUB, whatever, when they sign up. We tried all of that. But
Yeah.
if you are designing ads for me that you are saying working, it's saying work, and then I'm replicating those, word for word, point for point, bit by bit, then I should have the same results. And if you are saying that the landing page is your people are definitely going there from your ads, then they should be going there from my ads, which are the same as yours. So it was just
Yeah.
like, it was hard. I learned a lesson though. Everything is a strategic investment. Here's what I
Yeah.
really feel bad about as far as voiceovers, and I wish I would have done differently. It's really easy to develop a messiah in your industry, and become a follower or a disciple of that person, and they don't have all the answers. So there are several people actually at the top. There was kind of an Illuminati, and still is arguably at the top of the voiceover sphere.
Hmm.
There is a huge voiceover community of people that get together for conferences, and they network, and in some respects they're family, and in many respects some of them are really good people. What happened though is I spent so much time trying to kiss butt, trying to impress, trying to break my way into this inner fold of
Hmm.
this Illuminati, because all the same people are always chosen to speak, always the same people chosen to teach, always the same people that are drawn upon, and they have their little harems of people around them in their orbit, and no one else gets in. And these are the people that get all the teaching and the jobs and the money. And I was like, well, I have a lot to offer too. And my love language is giving. I'm not doing this for the money. I want to get out there and I want to be contributing, but I wasn't allowed to in some respects. And so that was
Yeah.
really difficult to swallow. And so that is one thing that forced me to make an exodus from the voiceover community in 23, and thus plunge me into a massive launching pad of creativity, both in music. I produced 3 CDs that year alone, and then
Hmm.
started writing, or 2 CDs rather, and then started writing Dissonance in 2023.
Yeah.
So had that not happened, that was the impetus for me to actually like launch back into a vat of creativity. It was a boon that happened.
I like how you shared that. And what I was thinking about while you were telling me that is that, well, now he has an opportunity to build his own community around this saga that you've created. I mean, think of Star Wars and how many offshoots there are from there that that have happened. And not so much Star Trek, but Star Trek is my first love as far as
Yeah.
that sci-fi stuff goes. But anyway, so now you have the opportunity to build your own community with your own rules, and you can be you or your characters can be the ones who people are seeking out.
Yeah. And I love that. I do have a community on Facebook that is a group. It's
Uh-huh.
an author Aaron Ryan group. And I find that a group, you experience far more engagement with people who are actively reading, partaking of your books, wanting to know news of your appearances, where you'll be
Hmm.
showing up to sign books next, giveaways, discounts, whatever. There's far more engagement in a group than there is with your Facebook page. So
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
the group. What is it now? It's 170 people strong now, which I like. It's not thousands, but it's been growing, and I'm grateful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a great bit of community around the Dissonance saga, because there's a lot of heart, parenting through trauma, thematic depth at the core of that story. It is inherently an alien invasion story, but they're on the periphery, and
Yeah.
your engagements with them are sparse. What truly is at the center is that mankind is always the worst enemy of mankind. And
Yeah.
so, how do we navigate that? How do we stay connected to each other, and be real and authentic and true?
Yeah. Right. To the core of our faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Aaron, it's been great having you. I love the purple t-shirt you've got in there. I can't read the whole thing. It says, "I'm a writer, annoy me, and you'll die in my next book." I love
Yeah.
it.
Isn't this great to wear when you're shopping? Like I have vinyl lettering on my car. That's another unconventional thing I do as an author. I want people to
Mhm.
see my who I am and what I do. But this is
Abs-
a conversation starter for sure. I love them.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up with your final words, what are three things our listeners can do today to to be persistent and get vision and clarity and do the things that you would recommend that they do.
Yeah. Well, to sum up, as Inigo Montoya says, no, that is too
Yeah.
much. I will sum up. Adapt and overcome. Everything's not going to be hunky-dory and rose-colored stained glass windows as you pursue your dream. You have to be able to find ways around or over those obstacles that come your way.
Mm-hmm.
And they will come your way. It's delusional thinking to think that it's going to be, walking on a bed of roses or sleeping in a bed of roses, whatever the phrase is. Adapt and overcome. Have a mantra. So critical. I love that phrase so much. Your focus determines your reality. I don't think George Lucas knew when he penned that phrase how inspirational that would be to me and so many others. Your focus determines your reality. So good. And then, this pertains really specifically to authors, but I'm sure that it translates well to other industries too. Oscar Wilde said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." So, as an author, I love J.R.R. Tolkien. Big surprise. Okay. I love Tolkien. I love Lord of the Rings. It is not incumbent upon me to be the next J.R.R. Tolkien, and it's not incumbent upon me to write Lord of the Rings-esque novels. It's incumbent upon me to tell a unique story, to have a unique voice, to, dare say, not depend on AI to write your story for you, but to be unique. Use this gift that you've been given up here and down here and create. It's a God-given gift to create. Don't hand that over to a computer to do that for you. Anyway.
Yeah. And I think
don't feel
those
strongly
are,
about that at all.
no, I can't tell, and I'll be honest. I use AI in my work very much, but I don't use it for storytelling. I pick my own stories because you can't really humanize AI like a human because AI doesn't experience like we do. They don't have the emotions. They don't know what it feels like to be dumped as a 15-year-old with your love of your life who joined the Navy and she got cancer and died 2 years ago. That, and that really happened. She didn't dump me, but she had to let me down. So, that you can't, AI doesn't experience that. And AI doesn't feel that, have the feelings that we have. But it can help you with structure and speed things up. That's for sure.
Sure.
You can make it your own.
I'll never use it. And I have a note on AI at the beginning of every single one of my books that just basically says, I will never use AI to structure any part of my narrative. I just won't do that. It's in every book I've written. I have used AI so this is a little secret I'm letting you, hopefully this doesn't go out on the internet. No. I used an AI tool. I forget where it was, but I needed a new author picture. I needed it quick. I didn't have the money or the time for a photo shoot. So, and I don't generally like doing those anyway. It's like, oh, look at me. So I actually took a bunch of pictures of me that I had, uploaded them, and took some selfies, and then had an AI program produce a new author portrait. And it's not bad. Some of them I look like an Asian. It looks a little weird, but it's not bad. So I have used AI. I used Grok to see what it knows about Aaron Ryan and to give me a report. I don't even know what you call it with Grok or any of those, to tell me what it knows about me. Yeah, it was a prompt. I was like, hey, that's not bad. That's better than my own about the author. I'm not going to copy and paste though. It just was like, it was interesting to see, but I won't use it for creation.
Yeah. Well, it does. Like we talked, my guest earlier this morning, we were talking about how it hallucinates and things like that. And so you've got to use it like you would an assistant or an apprentice.
Judiciously.
It said, hey, go out and collect this research for me and give me and brief me on it. And I'm going to go and check it and then use that as a source of research to fill in some of the gaps of things that I don't know, about a particular topic.
I will say too, I think it's really good for idea generation. I think you actually may have mentioned that. And I'm not opposed to using generative AI for like an idea generation for a story, because that's a few paragraphs. And then you're going to take that as inspiration, and then you're going to use your brain and your heart and write your own narrative. No problem with that at all.
Yeah. Well, it's been fascinating. I've enjoyed our time together. Thank you for coming today. Yeah. And to connect, how do we connect with you? I think we mentioned it earlier, but how do we officially get in touch with you on your Facebook group and what's going on over there?
Yeah, my favorite question. Well, my website is authoraaronryan.com. You can go there and there's links for all the socials at the bottom usually and all that stuff. But I
Hmm.
do have a group on Facebook called the Author Aaron Ryan Group. You can get there simply by going to authoraaronryangroup.com and it will forward you to the Facebook group, authoraaronryangroup.com. And I share progress on existing books or current works in progress. I share what's happening with speaking. I'm an inspirational speaker as well, and I've got a few gigs coming up, giveaways, discounts, news, blah, blah, blah. I like the
Yeah.
engagement that we have in there. So
Mhm.
it's a good group.
Yeah, so check out authoraaronryan.com at his website or authoraaronryangroup.com at his Facebook group. And thanks everyone for listening today. Remember, faith and action go hand in hand, so keep the pedal to the metal. Until next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show, I'm Paul Guyon and Aaron Ryan. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lead Machine Growth Show with Paul Guyon, where we show you how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream so that you can transform your vision into reality. Remember to visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show.